Here we go, here we go, here we go. Lá vamos nós, pessoal. Antes de mais nada, vocês já sabem que eu vou mandar essa live para 100 pessoas, 100 bateristas através do mundo. Ok? Ok. Just a few moments. I'm sending this live streaming for about 50 drummers around the world. And please do the same. Hi, Dave. Dave is now in our channel streaming. Dave Toms. How? Just a few moments, Dave, and we will bring Sam with us. Ok? Just a few moments. Só um pouquinho, pessoal. Estou mandando essa live para o mundo. Ok? Jans. Ok. Olá, pessoal. Pessoal chegando. Eu vou falar primeiro um pouquinho em português, ok? Yeah, Dave, Sam is amazing. Stay with us. Ok. Pessoal, boa noite. Tudo bem com vocês? Espero que sim. Hoje é a nossa última live do ano de 2020. E eu estou vestindo aqui, ó, a camiseta da turnê do Rush, que eu fui, porque nós temos uma convidada hoje do Canadá. Rush é do Canadá. Eu sei que ela gosta de Rush, eu também gosto de Rush. Então, é uma homenagem à nossa convidada de hoje e também à banda, uma das bandas que eu mais gosto. Certo? Então, vamos lá. Olha só. Hoje nós temos aqui Samantha Landa, direto do Canadá. Ela vai conversar com a gente. Está super animada. É uma matéria de metal. Vocês vão curtir. Não sejam tímidos. Mandem suas perguntas usando aqui, ó, essa bolinha aqui com um ponto de interrogação para o pessoal. E hoje a gente tem para ela responder. E hoje nós temos aqui também aquela perguntinha esperta, aonde você vai concorrer a um pacote de feltros para bateria, ali, ó, aqueles feltros para o prato, que no YouTube apareceu do outro lado, no YouTube é desse lado aqui, para você colocar ali, tem vermelho, preto, amarelo, ok? Das Octopads que está com a gente hoje. Sara, fica por aí, senão você vai perder de novo, fica por aí, ok? Então, hoje, nossa última live, temos, olha, não perca, nós já temos agenda para até março, e também amanhã nós temos meio-dia lá no nosso perfil do Drum Time Joel, a nossa live, a última do ano, que é sobre comentando um livro da biblioteca e também o sorteio do último par de baquetas, Vicford, amanhã, meio-dia, ok? E o nosso sponsor acaba de chegar, os Octopads, eu vou falar agora um pouquinho para vocês em inglês, depois eu retorno para o português, ok? Thank you, people, for being here. Tonight we have a special guest. As always, we always have special guests here. Tonight, Samantha Landa, Sam Landa from Canada, metal drummer, rock drummer. She's very happy to be with us, like us. We are very happy with her presence here. Hi, Lorena, how are you? Stay with us. This is our last live streaming for 2020, okay? But we have some great news for next year. We will announce it very soon, okay? For tonight, we have, hello, Rafa. We have a sponsor here, it's Octopads. We'll be giving a giveaway, like filters, color filters for your cymbals, stand cymbals. You have black, white, yellow, blue, red. And if you answer the magical question during the streaming, you will receive a pack with 10 of this. Okay? Don't be shy. Send your questions to Sam. For sure, that Sam will respond to you using this question toolbox down below, or write on the questions. And if you are on YouTube, please just write on the comments. I can see your comments. And okay, let's rock. Let's have fun with Sam Landa. Thank you for being here, people. Let's go. Hey.
Hey, boa noite.
Oh, ok. People, aplausos para essa entrada triunfal de Sam Landa. It's as, yeah, very good starting. Okay, you deserve Zoct Pets. Sam Landa deserves a pack of your color filter for stand symbols. Okay, this is my decision. Some After the streaming, Sam, you can decide what color is your
Oh,
favorite.
that's very generous. Thank you.
Yeah,
Hi.
let's decide. How are you?
Very good. Thank you. I'm happy to be here. It's an honor to be the final interview of 2020, the craziest year ever. And how are you?
For sure, the craziest ever year. But there's one thing, at least. So we have so many good things. But for Girls on Drums Festival, it was a very interesting year because we could met so many great drummers around the world, so many great drummers like you, and this is our live streaming number 91. Can you believe?
Wow. And when
Yeah.
did they start? When was number one?
Number one, it was in April with a Brazilian drummer called Nana Rizzini, very friend of mine, Brazilian. We did first with the Brazilian drummers that played on festival issues, 10 years of festival, almost 10 because this year we couldn't do. But we started with the drummers that played on the festival. So I have an idea. So let's start doing international streaming and doing with some drummers that never played on the festival. So we opened a new range. So here we are: Toronto, Singapore, China, Japan, Moscow, England, Argentina, Brazil.
That's incredible. It's so amazing. I mean, that you're facilitating, you have a platform to reach so many drummers around the world, and anyone watching as well can also, get exposure to drummers they've never heard of, maybe in other countries. And it's so amazing what you're doing. It's great.
Yeah, great. Me and Julia. Julia Batz is marketing. She is the our designer, and sometimes you can talk with Julia here on direct. People never know who is talking.
Okay. Well, thanks to Julia as well. You both do great work. It's awesome.
Well, I think the people are very curious about your career, your story as a musician, and we have so many subjects to talk tonight. Hi, Danielle. How Tasia? How David drums? Don't go away. Stay with us. Um, Sam, let's go to the beginning. How it was your start as a musician or as a drummer?
Yeah, sure. So I started playing piano, classical piano, for 9 years maybe before I started playing drums. And I mean, just in my family, lots of piano players. There's a couple of casual guitar players as well. But in my family, when you're a kid, you learn piano. So I learned piano, and then I was 11 years old, and I was going to enter into concert band in school, and I had a limited choice of instruments. And so I don't know, I thought I could do something that was challenging. And so I said, what's the most difficult instrument to learn that's in this band? And out of the options, they said, oh, drums or French horn. And they had a drum kit at school. I know, French horn. Imagine if I was a French horn player. I mean, it's a beautiful instrument, but I don't think it's for me. Yeah, so I didn't need to get my own drum kit. I could play the drums at school, and so my parents are like, "That's a great idea. You aren't going to be loud in the garage, causing crazy noise and problems." So I think it was an easy decision. So yeah, that's kind of how I got started, and but it wasn't like some people have the story where they hear a drummer for the first time, or they see someone and they're like, wow, I want to do that. For me, it wasn't really. I wish it was. I wish I had a story like that. For me, it was just I wanted to learn a new instrument, a new challenge. I already played piano, so I was used to doing, multitasking with my hands and my feet. So, and I was not a good drummer naturally. When I started, I was really bad. I found it very difficult. So when, anytime I've had to, I've taught someone or I've talked to other people and, if they like my playing now and they say, well, I tried it once or twice and I was bad. So I wasn't good at it. And I said, you need to sometimes give it time, especially with drums. It's not natural for everybody. It was not for me.
but tell us, is it true that you created some kind of free jazz or free playing at the piano? I mean, without no meters and no bar lines?
Oh, so kind of, yeah, with piano. So it's funny because when I played piano, I really enjoyed structure, which is funny because I also didn't understand rhythmic theory. So I didn't understand time signatures or how they worked. I could look on a page and see that's a bar and there's, this many notes in a bar. I understood that because, I could see it visually on the page. But I didn't really understand what it meant or how it worked, or, I knew how to count, but I didn't really do it properly. Anyway, when it came down to like subdividing and things like that, I didn't really understand. So yeah, I would definitely play with a lot of feeling when I played piano, and it was very natural sounding. And I would get compliments on it all the time as a kid. I would play concerts or recitals and they'd say, wow, it's so natural. It's so like, oh, there's so much tension and release, and there's so it's so emotional and heartfelt. And I'm like, 9 years old or 10 years old. And I'm like, well, it's thanks, but I don't understand what time signature it's in. And it changed time signature as well. I couldn't tell you that. I just knew it felt different. And I couldn't explain it because I don't know. My teacher kept trying to teach me theory, but because it was private lessons, and I just wanted to play songs. That's all. I didn't want to learn theory. So it's too bad because now that I understand the rhythmic theory, I wish I could tell my child self, just learn the theory. It will make your life so much easier. But I mean, I think it's kind of special, I guess, that I learned how to play piano before I understood the theory, because maybe I would have been a more rigid piano player. So I don't know. It's kind of funny.
But did you ever try to emulate this kind of feeling at the drums? Because I know it's possible. I learned a lot of jazz, and I even don't play like this, but I know that are so many drummers that play over the bar line, like doing fills and not stopping on the one, but over the bar line. Did you ever try doing something like this?
It's something I actually want to do more of. Actually, I love it. I think that there's some really creative sounding parts, like drum parts that drummers will do, playing over the bar line, or like they're implying a time signature when it isn't. And, there's a lot of cool stuff that I've been a pretty straightforward rock and metal drummer for most of my drumming life, that, that's still on my list of things I want to learn. I would love to get better with things like, polyrhythms and like kind of different feels and maybe some different time signatures. Like I'm pretty meat and potatoes when it comes to like, I play a lot of 4/4, I play 6/8, I might play 3/4 sometimes, but I don't do a lot of 5s and 7s and, 19s and other stuff that's kind of outside of the genres that I usually play. So, but I mean, with drumming, there's still the structure to it. It's still being subdivided. Whereas when I was playing piano, I would extend, it would be like, you'd be like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So it was like, whereas in drumming, it's like, you could do that, if you are playing to a track where you've written a track like that, or you're playing solo or something. But I think that generally, there's ways that drummers can kind of imply those things, and do things with metric modulation and things like that. So it feels, you know, like it's off, but it isn't. It's actually still subdivided cleanly. It's still on a grid or whatever, but it maybe gives the illusion that it's not. So I would like to do more of that at some point. Yeah.
You know, let me say, so many years ago, I did lessons with a musician, professor called Eduardo Gramani from Brazil. His instrument is an instrument called Rebecca. It's like a violin. It's very similar to violin, not drums. Rebecca, and he published a book called Rhythmica, like a rhythm. Okay, and all the book is about doing over the bar line and doing polyrhythms. I remember the first class that I had. I had about 1 week, 1 hour per day. After the first hour, the first class, I had to go to the like say in English, pharmacy.
Yeah.
Yeah, to buy a little medicine to my headache, because it's impossible to do what he was doing.
It was, yeah.
I think maybe he would be your professor on piano on the past to play like this.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I probably would have given him a headache just from, he would say, no, that's not how this works. You know, that's not how you count. And I'll be like, I don't care. I'm just going to play it anyway. It doesn't matter. You know, which I obviously learned later. Okay, no, counting's important, you know, and here's why theory is important, and, you know, all of those good things. But yeah, I get it. I get it.
Yeah. Alexa drums here. Alexa, how are you? Hope fine. Hope you're getting better. Okay, and your first time on drums?
Oh, like the first time I sat down on drums and played? Ooh. I don't remember the very first time. It would have been at school. No, you know what? I think that this was the first time I sat down on drums. And yeah, it was at school, concert band, you know, beginning of September, you know, when school starts. And I remember I had a like a book of really easy sheet music. And I remember that it was that the book had things like, it wasn't like, hey, here's how you play a drum beat or whatever. It was like, okay, we want you to first learn how to play like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star on a snare drum, you know, and I'm sitting here, I want to play the full kit, and it's like, no, you're not ready yet. You're not ready yet. You need to learn first. You just take your sticks and you're gonna play, you know, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, you know. And it was like, I was like, this sucks. It's so boring. Why did I choose this instrument? And I'm sitting here like, I want to do drum fills and I want to play this whole thing. And it looks so cool, but I had to be patient. But yeah, I think that it was probably very terrible. Actually, I still have a cassette tape from that year. So the year I started drums, I have to ask my parents, see if I can find it. And it's a tape I had to make recording myself playing something for an assignment for my teacher. And it's me saying in like a squeaky, you know, child's voice, you know, hi, this is Samantha, and I'm going to play this song for you. And it's just me really playing poorly on a snare drum in some sort of rhythm. And I need to find that because it's pretty bad.
Yeah, I think you really need to find and doing putting your digital form and publish.
I agree.
Yeah, because I have to do this with my first recordings too. I have, but it's on cassette too. Maybe I have to reach and publish. I don't know if the people that recorded with me will be very happy because we had about 14 or 13 years old.
Oh yeah, I think the first time I ever did like recorded an album, and I think I was 15 maybe, and we were in this studio. So it was like there was a local musician who was a couple years older than us, and I think he was maybe in his early 20s, and he had like a home studio that he built. So we went to this home studio, and it was like pretty cool, but I at the time, like, I didn't practice with a click track, and I don't think I recorded to a click track. I'm pretty sure it was like really rough. And this was like kind of somewhere between kind of punk rock and grunge kind of music. And so it was a lot of, you know, boomch, boomch, boomch kind of stuff. But yeah, I don't think that that's played to a click. And actually, I have the CD here. I just have to, you know, I have to digitize it. I have to put it on my computer. But I want to find that. It's bad. It's bad. And I think, yeah.
I think it's very important. I know because when I'm started in the 80s, 85, I started playing in 85. We don't have cell phones, cameras, and like you have to take pics and going to the shop and go revealing photos, and so expensive. So if you have this material, bring to the moment and put for people. It's a beautiful thing to remember.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, agreed. Yeah. Really, you know, now it's so much easier to film yourself and record yourself, and there's so much more digital media these days. And I'm grateful that we have it now. And so I hope that more kids, you know, are taking advantage of that, you know, especially, or anybody who's learning an instrument. It's such a good way to see your progress and watch yourself grow over time. Whereas, you know, it's really hard for you and me to go back and find some of our early stuff because it's on, you know, it might be on a cassette. It might be, you know, nobody was filming it or recording it because nobody really had access to the equipment. So yeah, it's hard sometimes to dig out that stuff.
Yeah. And about your first drum kit, do you remember about your real first drum kit?
Yeah.
Not a drum kit for kids.
Yeah.
But a real drum kit.
Yeah, it was a Westbury kit, and it was like dark red, maybe a burgundy, so it was like a dark red color, 5-piece. And I think it was my grandparents that bought it for me because at the time my parents didn't want me having drums at home. It was kind of an agreement when I started drumming. They've got drums at school, you can play those drums, and you have your practice pad at home. And eventually, a couple of years later, I said, I want to play at home, and I want my own drums, and I want to join like a rock band and whatever. And so I think it was my grandparents that bought me those drums, and I had them until a couple of years ago. I mean, I had them in storage for a long time. But yeah, that was my first kit. It was a Westbury.
Yeah, and about your progress at that time playing with bands. How many bands did you play with, or about your first professional gig?
Well, it's kind of hard to say because I feel like for me it was like a kind of a gradual progress, really. So, the first time I played with a band was the band that I recorded with. In that, you know, when I didn't record to a click, I was a terrible drummer. We recorded in a home studio, but I mean, and we would play at community centers, you know, for other kids and stuff like that. And that was kind of what we did because we weren't old enough to play in bars. So there was definitely that. I mean, I can't even think of when was the first time I got paid for a gig. Because that would be a good question, but I can't remember. I just know that as soon as I was legal, you know, I was old enough to play in bars. I started playing in bars with whatever bands I was in. But yeah, so I mean, I started playing in bands when I was, you know, 14 or 15 years old, and if I wasn't in one band, then I would be in another band. And you know, we tried to form a couple of other bands in high school that didn't work. And I used to have to, because I lived in the suburbs of Vancouver, and you know, I was kind of limited for who I could play with. And we used to have a website where you could find other local musicians. And so I used to take the bus like an hour and a half each way to get to band practice with some of these bands, because that's just where the people lived who I wanted, you know, who wanted to play the same style as me. So that was tough.
Yeah, and you bring your cymbals, stands, pedal.
No, I'm very lucky. Here's the thing. I'm really lucky that in each of those bands, I had access to a drum kit there. So there would be another member that had a drum kit, so I would go and use theirs. I did have a couple of bands. They didn't last very long, but where we would just rent like an hourly rehearsal space. So, they have drums there. Sometimes I would have to bring my cymbals. But usually you could just kind of rent that stuff, and I would be like, well, I'm not playing a gig. Like, it's okay if it sucks. I don't know. I'm 16 years old and I just didn't care.
Yeah. Were you nervous when your first gigs, when you played your first gigs? Were you so nervous?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. Because I think my first... Well, I'll tell you, my very first time I played drums in front of anyone wasn't even with like a rock or metal band or anything like that. Was with my school concert band, and we played a recital. We played in front of the whole school, and we're playing the cheesy concert music. And I had a drum solo, which was literally just like a snare drum thing, but I was terrified. That was like the scariest moment ever. And that was the first time I ever played drums in front of a crowd. But the first time I played like a gig with a band, I think it was pretty small. I vaguely remember it was at a community center. There weren't a lot of people there. It was like, okay, I just have to play. I know the songs really well. I just have to play them. So I don't think I was that nervous. I wasn't nearly as nervous as the first time I ever played drums in front of like the school. That was scary. But yeah, I don't know. I get more nervous even now. I get more nervous playing in front of fewer people because I can see each of them and I can see their reactions. And then I start thinking like, do they like it? Do they hate it? Like, what are they thinking? But if I play in front of more people, it's just a crowd to me. I'm more relaxed in front of a bigger crowd.
Yeah, you like me. I think like you. I feel like you. But nowadays we have no crowd to play.
Sadly.
Sadly. So let's talk about your bands nowadays. Did you did some dates with Nervosa?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was in 2016, and so it was like a really last minute thing. So where their old drummer a couple of years ago had quit the band, and they were in Europe, and they had a month-long tour coming up in North America, or well, in Canada and the US, and they needed somebody to fill in for those dates. And so a mutual friend recommended me to them, and they said, hey, could you learn our songs in like a week? And can you come on tour for a month? And I'm like, oh God, like I already knew of the band and I liked the band, but I was like, and I worked for myself at the time, and I thought, well, I can leave whenever. It's just, can I learn the songs fast enough? So I basically had I had like, I don't know, 24 hours to learn 4 or 5 songs. And well, that was just a couple of songs, and then I had to film it and send it to them. And anyway, this is way more backstory details than anyone needs, but I do that. So anyway, so I did, we did that tour, and then they asked if I wanted to do Europe. So we did, I drummed with them in Europe, and we did that for 6 weeks or 8 weeks or something. And then, that's that. So that was really, really great. So basically, I drummed with them for a couple of months, and awesome girls, and, great band.
Yeah. Do you know, we did streaming with the Pichu for us.
Yep.
We did the streaming with Luana D'Ameto, Brazilian too. And we did recently streaming with Eleni Nota.
You've gone through all of them. Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
And you. Yeah. Eleni Nota, the people fell in love with Eleni. It was very kindly person, like you, of course.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I mean, she seems really great. I started following her ever since she joined the band, and and I still talk to Prika, pretty regularly, and so it sounds like it's going really well, and I'm really excited to see them, and hopefully they can play here when stuff gets back to normal, and yeah.
So we have the almost complete package of drummers for Nervosa, but the very first drummer, Fernanda Terra, don't like to do streamings.
Oh,
I don't know.
Oh, it's okay.
Let's talk about your bands. But first, we have a question here from Dave Drums. What does Sam recommend for a good practice regimen? Her,
Mm-hmm.
her technique is phenomenal.
Oh, thanks, Dave. Well, I've kind of gone back and forth through a couple of different routines. One thing I think that's really helped my hand technique and just like confidence, I guess, and just like stability and things like that. I mean, first of all, watching Bruce Becker stuff was like a game changer for me, and like all his drum technique stuff and the molar, molar technique, and I find that really helped me personally. But one thing in my practice routine that I find really helps, and a bunch of other drummers that I know do this, and it really is a game changer, is either practicing, where you start with your non-dominant hand, or you create or play exercises where it forces you to switch back and forth. So, if you're doing like, let's say something really basic, like single strokes to double strokes to paradiddles and back or something, if it means that at the end of the paradiddle, you play it, well, paradiddle is actually perfect. Let me think. Yeah, you know what? Here, I've got my pad here. I'll just show you.
Yeah. It's time to play. It's time to do a little merchan.
Let's see if I can.
Yeah, a little bit for down.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. Hold on a sec. And then I got a mirror here, so it's like awkward. Hold on a sec. I think I can.
No, oh, mirror can work.
Yeah, you can watch me play here. No, here you go. And I'm also here in on YouTube stream as well.
Don't
Okay, I'll show you the mirror. This is gonna be unconventional.
A little bit for
okay.
A little bit for forward. A little bit. I think it's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Okay, Dave. I hope you're still there.
Yeah, Dave is on.
Okay, I'm just trying to think of something because I've been working on a lot of feet stuff lately. You should just look at you here. I've been working on a lot of feet stuff lately, so I haven't been, I'm a little bit I'm a little bit rusty, a little bit out of practice on the pad. But so if you can come up with exercises where you're forced to switch your lead hand. Mm-hmm. So like let's say, let me think. Like if you're doing paradiddles. And then you might switch. You might do a single at the end to switch so that your paradiddles have to start on your left, and then you just keep rotating. So I mean, it's a really simple concept. Tons of people do it, but it really is a game changer. Or like, let me think. One that I really like to do is just like or you know what? I'm so rusty actually with the exercises for the hands. And then you end it with a paradiddle. That's what it means. Okay, you know what? Take this advice, actually. I should have just said this from the beginning. If you're doing singles or you're doing doubles or you're doing any sort of exercise, end it with a paradiddle because that's going to force you to switch to your other hand. So if it's, you're doing, even just singles, I'm getting caught on my headphones here, but even if you're just doing singles, end it with a paradiddle. It's going to force you to switch so you do left hand lead. So it's like 1 and 2, 3. Yeah. So that's kind of what I'm trying to get at, is that you can do it with any exercise. So just, I found that was like such a game changer for me. Just learning to really focus on your non-dominant hand, but for me too, like that's more of a fun, natural way to do it. Exactly. Yeah, Joey in the comments. Exactly. So yeah, if you can, if you're doing any kind of exercise, try and end it with a paradiddle. It's going to flip it around to your other hand, and then you're going to, end that run with the paradiddle so it switches back to your lead hand. So that was such a game changer for me. It strengthened my left hand. It gave it more like conviction in my left hand because my left hand has always been my weak hand. And, starting those really slowly so you can really get solid and then working up to higher tempos.
Yeah, great. I understand completely. because sometimes I say for my students, for example, if you do a simple fill, like using a pretty basic drum kit like this, if you have just one crash on your left side, hi-hat side, you can do, for example, right, left on snare, tone, one tone, high tone, mid tone. On floor tone, you can do right, left, right, red, and going to the crash with your left. It's more easy to cross over with your hand and play the crash.
It is, yeah.
Country.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, one thing, like I think that the way you set up your drum kit definitely makes a difference, and it can give you new and fun challenges too. So if you're saying I want to, play more with my left hand, every time you hit the crash, hit it with your left. Play open-handed. Honestly, not everyone, most drummers, let's say we're right-handed, we cross our hands on the hi-hat, things like that. We really focus on a lot of right-handed stuff and right leading patterns, but maybe it means, it's funny that I didn't notice this till recently. I always count open-handed. So, I'm a, more of a traditional right-handed drummer, but whenever I'm just counting on the hi-hat and I'm like doing a count into a song, I always do it with my left. I always do it in the left on the hi-hat. And so now I've started practicing a bit more, some basic patterns, just playing open-handed. Just it gives you more options too. You've got another hand free now to be, maybe you've got your right hand going around the kit on the toms, and you've got your left hand maybe doing a hi-hat and snare thing. So it just opens things up so much more. But it's really about getting outside of your comfort zone and trying something different. But so I don't know if that completely answers Dave's question. I totally gone off on a tangent, but yeah, for me though, that's in my practice routine. I don't always play the same things. I don't always play the same patterns. I get bored really easily, and for me, for many, many years, I was a very unmotivated drummer. I was like, it's good enough. I'm just going to cruise. I wasn't a great drummer. I was like, but it's good enough. I'm just going to whatever. And it's because I got bored really fast practicing. And I don't anymore, because I think I've found ways that keep practice fun. And, it is repetitive, but it's like, but I always break up my practices. I don't usually play the same thing for like 30 minutes. It's like doing reps at the gym, you might do 10 reps of this one exercise, and then you're working a different muscle for the, for 10, and you're doing, whatever. You've got like a whole circuit, and then you come back and you repeat it. And I found that I can get, I can still make progress that way, and I don't get bored, because I'm doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and then I repeat and I do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Depending on what you're working on, I wouldn't do that if you're like, say, I need to improve my technique. You really need to get the repetition. I wouldn't break up the repetition. But if it's like learning patterns, or I don't know, practicing different patterns, leading with your left, like change up the pattern. But as long as you're leading with your left every time, then you're doing something. You're learning.
Yeah, great. We have a question here for Joy. Do you apply the same concepts with your double bass leading with left?
Mm-hmm. So it's something that I do not often enough, and I really need to do it more. But it is absolutely something that helped with my double bass, especially playing patterns. So if you're doing a double bass run, try and lead with your left. If you're playing a pattern, try and lead with your left. It's definitely something I've done in the past in my practice routine. Right now, I've got kind of other goals that I'm working on. So right now, I'm mostly focusing on kind of leading with my right, just because I need to do that to hit the goals. But leading with my left has actually helped with my right, I think. And it's also strengthened my left foot, so that when I am leading with my right, my left has also more conviction. It has more control. But I highly recommend it. It's like, what do you have to lose? Like, you only have things to gain. So if you've got the time to do it, you should put that into your practice routine. Even if you just do it for 5 minutes and you change up the pattern a couple times, do it really slowly. Lead with your lead with your non-dominant foot, and it'll help with your independence too. So if you're doing hi-hat stuff or whatever, don't neglect. We have another leg here. We don't want to neglect it.
Yeah, agree. So let's talk a little bit about your bands and say to the people where they can find your tracks, your sounds, Samantha sounds, please.
So right now I have 3 bands.
Yeah.
They're all kind of they're all different styles and kind of varying levels of being active. So so one of them is Conquer Divide, and Conquer Divide put out a video a couple of months ago. You can check out on YouTube. Spotify also put out we've got a couple of songs, a couple of videos. You should definitely check it out. And then I've also got, that band is kind of like, I'd say like rock, metalcore style. And then I've also got the Anti-Queens, which is kind of like a kind of punk rock kind of style. And you can also find that band just put out like a fun animated video recently. You can check that out. And then I also have a like death thrash band called Dead Asylum, and which is currently doing some writing. But again, you can also figure out where to find us online. I mean, you can follow me on Instagram, and like I've got links to all of those bands. But yeah, it's those 3. Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about your drum sound, because I heard the tracks, not all the tracks, of course, but I listened the mainly tracks. I was listening just right now before the streaming, one more track. But let's talk about the drum sound. That's why we are here.
Yeah.
Did you use some kind of triggering for that kind of drum sound?
Is there one in particular you were curious about? Because like
Conquer and Divide.
Yeah, so that's sample. Those are samples and triggers. Yeah. And I'm trying to remember exactly what was used. I know that I know it's Joey Sturgis. I'm not. I think it's Drum Forge. I can't remember exactly what the samples are that were used, but it's kind of a blend of all these different samples. I mean, I play Mapex, so obviously that's like the sound I prefer.
Yeah.
But I kind of got involved when those decisions were already made with that band. So I mean, so for example, with Conquer Divide and the Anti-Queens, I got involved with both of those bands this year, right before the pandemic started. So if you really want to hear kind of more like my sound, then you should check out Dead Asylum, or like our second album. But I usually like a blending of samples and real drums usually. So as much as I love when you get a kit sounding really, really good, I mean, if you can sample your own kit and you can blend your own samples with your live kit, to me that's like the perfect blend, because it's still your kit, it's still the drums that you play, it's still the drums you love, but you get a little bit of that extra, I think, control in the way that it sounds. You get the extra, oomph, extra compression, whatever it is. It's really, I trust engineers, I trust producers a lot. I have a bunch of different drum sounds I like. I just know I like dark sounds. I like highly compressed. I don't like a clicky bass drum, but I don't like too boomy. I like when it's got like good attack, but a bit of body. So I like a blend of, triggers, samples with the live kit.
Yeah, we have so many topics to abord with this subject, but first let's take a look. Okay, a comment here. People are very shy tonight to send the question for Sam.
Oh.
Don't be shy, people. Send your questions, your doubts for Sam.
Yes, I love your questions, please.
Yeah, send your questions. Did you saw, people?
Thank you.
Thank
you so much. Thank you so much.
Let's see. We have some questions on the comments. It's very difficult to find the questions. Please send using the question toolbox. For my friend Mauro is my friend. What type of drum heads you play? Double ply or single ply?
Double. Yeah. I mean, I'm not like a crazy hard hitter, but I just want heads that last longer. I mean, I play metal for the most part, and I've been playing, and this year I've been playing rock as well. But I mean, especially rock, I almost feel like, if you're playing rock and it's a little bit, it's not death metal, you're probably hitting pretty hard. So I always play 2-ply. I use Evans, all Evans drum heads, and I'm trying to remember what I have right now. I've got like can't remember which one it is. It's got like the power center for the snare, and I use clear heads as well, just because I think it just gets more of the punch, like more attack. Yeah.
I don't remember. It's if I tried. I was an Evans endorser a long time ago. It was maybe the power center. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm forgetting right now. It's Evans power center snare head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've used that.
Are you Evans artist?
I'm not. No, I would love to be, but I'm not. No, I don't formally endorse any drumhead companies at the moment. But Evans is my choice. I mean, I've been playing Evans for a long time. So if anyone from Evans is out there.
Yeah. Send this streaming for Mr. Daddario.
Yeah.
I can send you for my friend, the Italian Marco Soccoli. I don't know if he's still on the Daddario company. Maybe.
I wouldn't say no. I would love that. I already tell people buy Evans, so
But we have here my friend Costa Atos. Atos Costa, are you still here, Costa? Costa Atos, my friend from Brazil, Brazilian Pearl company. Okay, EC2 clear. That
on the toms, yeah.
Okay, we have another question here. So we have to talk about your. Okay, from where are you sending?
Like where am I right now? Like a city, like country? Yeah. I'm in Montreal, Canada.
Okay. Question. Okay, Atos is here. Atos, are you enjoying this streaming with the great Samantha Landa? Do you ever know anything about Samantha before this streaming? Atos is my friend here in Brazil.
Oh, hi.
Send your questions for Samantha, Atos. Don't be shy.
Anything, I'll answer pretty much anything.
Yeah. So let's return to the subject of the drum sounds. Okay, I saw a video of yours on Instagram doing some not sampling. You say about drums forge.
Drum forge, correct? Yeah.
Yeah. Your replacement, yes. I did a record in 2012 using this kind of method. I played the sound. I played the drums. I don't remember the sounds where, but it was like a Roland. And I had to go to do a tour with another singer in another cities in Brazil. And I remember when my friend, the guitar player, called me and said, "Well, we have to make a choice about your drum sounds to do a replacement." So what? We have to do a replacement because you play a certain type of sounds, but we have to choose another sound. Okay, so I remember I was in a tour bus, and doing some choices about cymbals. I am a Sabian artist like you, so I remember. Oh, okay. My first crash, it's gonna be 17 crash, second crash 19, and so on. So tell us about for the basics, just the basics. What is a replacement sound?
Like what would I choose? Like what gear? Like if I could choose any gear to be. Yeah. I mean, I love my gear that I play, regularly. I mean, I could tell you what gear I use because that's probably what I would want. I mean, yeah, I don't know, like probably would just be my own kit, to be honest. I mean, and I've got, 17, I've got 17, 19 for my crashes. I've got a mix of AAX and HHX from Sabian. I've got my ride. It's the Power Bell ride. I mean, yeah, and I played like a Mapex Sledgehammer snare, which is like super loud and just like amazing. And then, yeah, I mean, I play Mapex Saturns. I think they sound amazing. I mean, I honestly, I would love to just sample my own kit. That would be fantastic. But I think, to be honest, I would just use the samples created with my kit. I think that would be the dream.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It was your own sounds that you, okay. But
I would like that, yeah.
But how it works? Tell us as a beginner how it works.
Okay, like how would you do sample replacement?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, for sure. So, okay, I mean, basically sample replacement, I mean, it's taking, like, let's say you were to record a sample. So it's just like a single hit. So you might record, a hit of a snare, a hit of each of your toms, a hit, kick drum. There's cymbal samples as well, but some people will just do, they'll just do their drums because those usually sound a bit more natural. And so basically what you do is you go into a DAW, you go into your program, and you would, I mean, there's a couple ways you can do it. You can either do it where you are, you record on like a traditional, maybe record on your traditional acoustic kit, and you're looking at all of your sound waves in Pro Tools or Reaper, and then you're basically pasting in the sound from your sample library. So you would take those samples that you had recorded or that somebody else has recorded, you have them in like you've got a whole file library of those. You basically just replace each of your hits with those samples. So you can either do it like a total sample replacement where every single hit is from a sample, so people aren't actually hearing what you're playing, only the locations of those hits. Or you can do a blend where you mix a sample in with your actual drum recording. And you can do it with MIDI drums too. You have it on an electronic kit maybe, and you maybe record something, where you can match up the drum samples with a different MIDI note, so that when you are recording something on your electronic kit, that it's immediately replacing each of those MIDI notes or each of those hits that you're doing with that sample that's already, maybe in your program. So I don't know if that makes sense, but there's a couple ways you can do it.
Makes sense, but do you think it's very easy for a beginner or something like this?
I'll tell you, I'm a beginner with sample replacement, and it was really, really easy. As long as you've got, you just need basic knowledge of an audio editing program, or like an audio program. So like, yeah, Pro Tools or Cubase or Reaper or any one of those programs. Just basic editing knowledge. If you know how to like cut and paste, move things over. I mean, I think I watched like a YouTube video to learn exactly how to do it. And, and Drum Forge has been really, really supportive, with just being awesome. And they've got these one-shot samples. So it's basically like you just plug it in. You don't have to do any kind of editing or EQ or compression. It's just like ready to go. So for me as a beginner with sample replacement, it was like really easy. I was like, I got to do more of this, because it just makes everything sound so much more professional. So it's pretty cool.
But you don't need drum triggers, just single microphones.
Yeah, exactly. If you don't need to have triggers. You can trigger if you want, or if you just have just basic drum mics, you can do it with that as well. I think the main thing is that you have a mic or trigger for each drum that you want to sample. So, if you record one file, like a wave file, where it's got all of your drums and cymbals in it, you won't, it's not going to be able to, you can't separate the different files or the different, you can separate like Tom 1, Tom 2, and here's the snare. And so that will make your life very, very difficult. So only if you have a way to separate each of the drums or each of the cymbals. But I also recommend, I haven't done any cymbal sampling. I think that's a whole other journey. I don't know if I want to go down, because it can be really hard to make sampled cymbals sound right and sound natural. people do it and they can make it sound really good. But I'm a beginner with sampling, so I'm like, I'll stick to just the drums.
Yeah, because cymbals have another kind of spread sound.
Yeah.
It's not like so brutal like drum. Let me say in this way. Cymbals is so it's in
like
the air.
Yeah, it's like a wash, and it doesn't have one clear point of attack.
Yeah.
So it's a lot harder, and it's a lot harder to, I think, you know, if you're riding on a crash in a song, it's you know, you could copy and paste a bunch of those hits, but then they have to blend naturally together, and it's hard to do.
You can hear, you can hear some very teeny cutting on sound if you do this.
Yeah, so maybe not.
Yeah, we have another question. Let's talk about cymbals. Have you tried the HHX Complex series?
Ooh, I feel like I tried one when I was at the Sabian factory, and they were just getting ready to release the Complex. I don't have any on my kit. I don't have any right now, but they sound awesome. They sound awesome, and they're so smooth. I did try one at the factory. I just can't remember which one it was. I wish I could tell you, but I remember they were saying, "Oh, we're coming out with this new line," you know. And yeah, they're really cool. I mean, I didn't. You got two? Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I had to. I have 15 hi-hats and a huge 22 tin crash.
Oh, awesome. I really need to get one, or I need to get a set. I got to save up, you know.
You know, it's the favorite cymbal series for Andy.
Oh, is it? Is it the Complex?
Yeah, we did a live streaming with Andy in July. Me and Vera Figueredo and Andy, and he said the favorite nowadays, the favorite series for him is the new Complex, HHX Complex.
Well, I gotta get them. I really have to get those. And Andy is he's such a funny guy too. And I mean, I just feel so lucky. I mean, you're a Sabian artist too. You know how tight the family is. Everyone, not just the literal family, but like everyone who works there. And they're always coming out with cool new products. Like I love them, and great people.
How many years are you now with Sabian?
Not long. Maybe 2 years. Let me think. 2020. Maybe 3 years. I think it might be 3 years, 2 or 3 years. Yeah. So I'm pretty new. I'm pretty new.
Really great. I love cymbals. I've been with Sabian so many times.
How many years?
Yeah, actually, the history goes like this. I started with Sabian in 1904 and goes to 2000. And suddenly, the Brazilian distributor cut off Sabian and put Zildjian on the place.
No,
so,
how dare they?
Yeah. Sabian go out to Brazil for 1 year, and I signed it with Zildjian. For 1 year. So I left. I signed officially with Zildjian. So I left Zildjian after 1 year. I signed with a Brazilian company called Orion for 1 year. I asked for all entire catalog. All entire catalog. One symbol of each size, whatever. So I stayed with Orion 1 year, and suddenly in 2002, I was in my drum school, not this build, another build, and here, and suddenly Mrs. Nadine, do you know Nadine Metayer?
I don't.
Nadine Metayer is a artistic relations for Europe and Latin America.
Okay.
And suddenly she appeared on my drum school, and bringing to Sabian 2002 again. So I've been with Sabian since 2002 until now.
Wow.
The truth is now the Brazilian distributor change again, and Sabian will change the Brazilian distributor once again next year. But not me. I'm still with Sabian.
Yep.
I respect all the brands. All the brands have good products. All the brands have good artists. You don't have to say nothing bad about another brands.
Of course, yeah, you can still.
But for me, it's Sabian.
Yeah, no, same with me. I mean, I've been playing Sabian since I started drumming, and I'm so brand loyal. It's funny. I don't know. I feel like, some people, they see the good in all the different products, and like, there's lots of great companies. They all have, varying lines of quality and whatever. But for me, it was always about Sabian, and so I knew, when I thought, well, maybe I could see if they would be interested in, working with me. I was approached by other cymbal companies, and I was like, no, like it's Sabian or nothing. I've always been so brand loyal to Sabian, because and my first set of cymbals was like Sabian Solars, and they were the lowest line, I will just say, of Sabian. But I knew I had patience. They were beginner cymbals. So, but I had patience, and I thought, okay, Sabian, great. Other people I know play Sabian. This is a good brand. Even though my cymbals weren't great, it was like, well, I know that they make really good cymbals. And so I started upgrading and getting away from the beginner cymbals. I started, trying other cymbals from their different lines. And I'm like, oh yeah, like this is great. It's like cutting through butter. It was so amazing. And so, yeah, I've been playing Sabian, the whole time for like over 20 years.
Yeah, Sabian, definitely unbound. Sabian unbound, don't forget. Okay, let's know about your cymbal setup. Can you describe your complete cymbal setup?
Let's see if I remember it, because I'm like,
no.
Okay. I'm just hoping. I mean, it's funny. It's on my. I think it's on my Facebook page, and like I think it's on my Facebook page. So if somebody sees it,
your Facebook page.
Sure. No, I was gonna say, like, if someone wants to test me on it, tell me if I got it right or wrong, because I have a good memory for certain things, but other things I'm like, I don't know which one it is. If it's this one, but I got it. Oh no, okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
I play like every day. I have.
Okay. Let's.
Okay, wait. 14-inch AAX stage hats. Did you find the list? It should be on my Facebook. No.
I'm going to Facebook.
Okay.
Facebook.
Yeah. Okay.
Final test.
Okay, the final test. Do I know my own gear?
Okay.
Do I know my own gear? Okay.
No. Okay. Samantha. Okay. Let's see if you are right. Okay. Where I can find your cymbal kit?
It'll be on my About Us. If it's not, it'll be on my Sabian page, and I think I've got a link to my Sabian artist page. But I think it's got my list, my cymbal setup. It's fine. I can just look back on this later and see if I. Okay. Here's what I'm pretty sure I have, but if I'm wrong, I apologize to my.
If you are wrong, you call Mr. Andy.
Then I will get called by Andy himself, and he will be like, Sam, like, we're so close to dropping you because you don't even know exactly what your cymbal setup is right now.
I agree.
Okay, so here's what I think I have. I think I have a 14-inch Sabian AAX stage hats. Pretty sure that those are my hi-hats. I'm just like, terrible memory. I have a 17-inch. I just can't remember which one's the AAX, which one's the HHX. I think I have a 17-inch AA Explosion Crash. A 7. Yeah, yes. Okay, good. 19-inch HHX Explosion. No, is that okay? And then I've got 2 splashes. I've got a. Oh man, I'm really bad at this. They're both 8-inch splashes, and one is an 8-inch. I always forget if it's an air splash or an arrow splash. I'm so sorry, Sabian. One has bigger holes, one has smaller holes.
Yeah, correctly.
Is it the air splash?
Yeah, air splash.
Okay, and the other one is an HH, hand hammered, 8-inch splash. And then I have a. Oh man, what size is my China? It's an. I want to say it's an 18-inch. No, 17-inch. Because I used to have a different China. And I remember I only switched to this one I changed sizes because they didn't. I think that there was a reason I couldn't get the same one again.
Okay, I'm seeing your China here.
Oh, which one is it? It's an AAX. It's a 16.
Yeah.
I did downsize. My God. Okay, so but it's an AAX.
AX.
But it's a 16. Crazy. That's crazy. I don't even know all my sizes 100%. Okay, because switch out gear, it's like it's in my mind that it's my old cymbal. So I'm like, yeah, I've got like an 18-inch AX China, and that was my old one. That was my old one. Now I have a 16-inch. There you go. And then my power bell ride is a 21.
Yeah.
Yes.
21. Yeah, power bell, because the gigabell, it was 22. So power bell is 21.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I do mostly. I just couldn't remember the size of my. China. Whatever. I was like, 7 for 8 or whatever. I almost got it, but yeah. So that's my cymbal setup.
So, can you remember the sizes of your drum kit? Because let me say, almost all the drummers here don't remember the size of her drums.
I never remember the depth of the drums.
Forget depth.
Okay, so here's the thing. I have not added my newest tom on my page, so it's not going to say that. But I have an 8. So my toms, I have an 8, 10, 12, 14 toms. I have a 20-inch bass drum and a 14-inch snare. Well, it's 14 by 6.5 snare. But I never remember the depths. I feel like I have the fast toms, so I think they're a bit shallower than usual for the Saturn V series. But yeah, it's an 8, 10, 12, 14. And the 14 is a floor tom.
It's Saturn. Is maple or birch? Saturn is maple.
It's a hybrid. It's a maple walnut blend. Yeah.
Okay.
Couple plies of maple and a couple of plies of walnut.
Okay. And your hardware is all Mapex too?
My hardware is kind of a blend of things because I just haven't replaced it all. I do play with a Mapex Falcon hi-hat stand. I mean, I would play a Mapex rack if I could get one, but I don't have one. So,
okay.
But yeah, it's kind of a mix of hardware. And my pedals are Pearl Demon drives.
Okay. Do you remember when Mapex appeared on the market?
When they appeared on the market, I don't remember. I've just known about them for a while, and yeah, I can't remember.
You could do research about Mapex.
Yeah.
Because it is a very good brand. I play Gretsch. I love so many drums. I respect all the brands. I have a good friendship with Pearl Brazil, with my friend Atos, and I really like Mapex too. It's very good. So I have some drums from Mapex too. So remember when Mapex come to the market, you have in Brazil, people don't know about Mapex. Brazil, it's called a Mapex. But correct is Mapex. Mapex, it was a brand that made drums or certain pieces of gear for Tama, Yamaha, and so on. And they decided to do they own the brand. The first artist, it was Billy Cobham. Do you know Billy Cobham?
He was the first artist. That's cool. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I wasn't sure exactly what year. I can't remember exactly what year.
I think it was about the beginning of the 90s.
You know who's a killer Mapex artist? Achilles Priester.
Yeah, Achilles, my friend. Achilles, it will be here in my school next January 21, doing some personal classes. Yeah, Achilles. You can call Achilles Bugre.
Oh, okay.
Bugre. and he, you know what I'm talking about, Bugre.
Okay. Is he gonna get mad?
Yeah, no problem. You can call it Bugre. You can say, Joe call you Bugre. Okay. Joey say I'm saving 2 great stuff. Sabian is kick-ass. Mauro, yeah, Mapex coming in late 80s. Yeah, I remember. We have a question here from Mauro.
Yeah. Have you already been at NAMM? I have gone to NAMM twice. I wanted to go in 2021, but unfortunately the winter NAMM is not happening. I plan to be at the next winter NAMM whenever that happens, so I guess 2022 probably. I love it actually. Like, it's not for everyone, you know. There's a lot of people. It's loud. It's a lot of talking, a lot of walking around. I love NAMM. I love it. It's like my happy place because it's like you're surrounded by gear, awesome drums. There's cool drummers everywhere. There's people doing performances and demos. The parties at night are so much fun. It's like you don't know who you're gonna meet, and it's just like really, I'm such a social person. It's great. Yeah.
I have to go to NAMM because Sabian called me twice, and not this year, of course. But I tried to do twice. Sabian sent me the badge. 2 years, Nadine sent me the badge. I was ready to go, but I have to do shows here. I could live in the bands. Bands will be set off with me. So I'm so sad that I can't go to NAMM until now. Let's see the future.
I hope so. Yeah, we'll have to. Yeah.
Of course. Let's talk about your drumsticks.
Los Cabos. I endorse Los Cabos. It's another Canadian company actually, and so I play they have like white hickory and they've got red hickory. I started with white hickory, but I'm really liking the red. I mean, they're so durable, it's crazy. But I play 5As, and I always play 5As that have a bit of extra length to them. So with Los Cabos, they call them intense. So it's not your standard length 5A. They have a little bit of a couple extra centimeters of length. And that's just what I'm used to. I feel like I get a better fulcrum, a better like kind of balance point with the longer sticks. So yeah, I play 5As with a little bit of extra. Yeah.
Great. Do you use different size of sticks to press pads?
I don't actually. I know that there's a lot of people that like to do that. But for me, like I like to practice as close to how I would perform as possible. So I used to try that, like I'd play with like 2Bs or like heavy sticks when I practice, and then, oh, it's so light when I go to, my usual size. But I found that I just want to keep things consistent. So I want to practice the way that I would perform and as close as possible. And actually until recently, like I had, I have my demon drives at my studio rehearsal space, and I have an electronic kit at home, and I played on these really old eliminators, really, really, clunky, and hoping that would help, my feet would be flying when I play on my acoustic kit, but it wasn't the case. I got used to playing these clunky chain drive pedals at home, and then I'd go and play these direct drive, really smooth longboard pedals at the rehearsal space, and it was a different feeling. So same with drumsticks. I like to practice with the same sticks that I would use to perform.
Yeah, I know. Los Cabos sent me one pair many years ago to when Los Cabos came to Brazil. So now if I'm not wrong, we don't have any more Los Cabos here in Brazil. If I'm not wrong, but I have one pair. I keep intact on my box of different sticks because I'm using Vickford so long time ago. But Los Cabos is very good quantities, of course. So let's talk about your interviews at Drumeo.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, it's a very cool subject. Tell us what was the most interesting interview, or the what you learn doing interviews.
Yeah, so for anybody watching and doesn't know, I actually work for Drumeo. So like my full-time day job is I work for Drumeo, and one of the things that I do as part of my job is I'll interview different pro drummers, and I've started doing these Instagram lives. So I help them with these feature stories. So the artist will basically tell me the story, and I'll help them make, put it together on paper, basically, what they're telling me. And yeah, doing these Instagram live interviews as well with them. I don't know. I mean, they've all been great. Like all the interviews in general. I mean, I've interviewed some really cool people. Everyone's so nice, and that's the best thing. You want to hear all these drum heroes, these legends. David Garibaldi was the first one I did, and he's just the nicest person, and just amazing. And most recently, I interviewed Mike Mangini on Instagram as well. Also, just tons of cool energy. Really, really interesting person. But I think the main thing that I've learned doing these interviews is just that when they talk about stars, they're just like us. These people who have been, they've been professional career drummers for decades, a lot of them. And, a lot of these drummers that people really look up to, and just how down to earth people are, and how a lot of their experiences, I think, are very relatable. And that's really what we're trying to do with these, by having them tell these stories that are on our blog, basically. It's like an online magazine. It's basically, finding out when, I don't know, like Anna Canals, for example, having, she really had to build up her confidence because, and she was getting rejected from schools when she was originally, applying and thinking, am I good enough, and et cetera, and really having to work at it to kind of get over those fears and get over the confidence issues. Or like Marco Miniman talked about his very first gig, and he's like a kid, and he kind of chickened out because he was scared, so he made his mom turn the car around and go home, and he missed his first gig. It was just like a little thing, or I think it was like at a local community event or something. But or I don't know, I'm just trying to think, like a lot of these drummers, these pro drummers, they're confident now, or they at least appear confident now, and they're fantastic players, and they've got amazing careers, and they inspire and influence a lot of people. But it really, like, a lot of them, whether they still deal with these issues now or they overcame them, that other drummers, up and coming drummers or hobby drummers or whoever, like going through self-esteem issues, confidence issues, getting rejected from things they apply to, or failing auditions, realizing that their heroes did too. Their heroes, a lot of them went through those same things, have the same fears, have the same insecurities, have the same problems maybe, or some people, they've injured themselves. How is their career going to continue? Like, so learning a lot from pro drummers and hearing their stories, and it humanizes them.
Yeah, great. I think it's so cool to hear so close to you these drummers, and it's a great experience, don't you?
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, for speaking for myself, like, I love my job. Like, I have my dream, and I still get to be a musician as well. I get to play with my bands. I get to go on tour when there's tours, and I get to interview amazing drummers. I get to write about drums. It's amazing. But yeah, it really is hearing the stories from pro drummers, legends or drummers who have been doing this for years, and it's really cool. Really, really cool. Very inspiring.
Did you an interview with Jonathan Sugarfoot?
I did. Yeah.
Tell us about anything about that he don't say on the interview about playing with the great Michael Jackson.
You know what,
just for us.
I wish I had a lot. I wish I had more to tell you about that, but pretty much. I'm just trying to think, because that was a little while ago now. I don't think there was anything other than just the fact that he had a really close relationship with Michael. They were very, very close friends, and just that a big thing with that, I think, working relationship as well, was that it sounds, Michael really appreciated how prepared and professional Sugarfoot was, and that was also how he got his gig with the Jacksons. How he got his gig with Michael. He didn't share any, no juicy, fun, crazy, wild stories or anything, but really just, I think, about kind of a mutual respect, I think, that they had for each other. And Just that, he would tell him how much he, appreciated that, everything that he did, and just that, yeah, Jonathan just, it was his job, he took it very seriously, and he played with him for, 30 years or almost 30 years. So yeah, I don't have any, anything.
I remember an interview that I read with Jonathan so many years ago, so long time ago, and he said that when he brought a new drum kit for a tour with Michael Jackson, it was a brand new drum kit with new racks. It was the 80s, the new racks, very giant drum kit, and the stage manager, producer, or stage producer or whatever, say for him, Michael, you don't like, Michael, you not like this drum kit. It's so beautiful. It's not good for the stage. You are appearing so much. So Michael came in for I don't know, make a sound check, whatever, and saw the new drum kit. And Jonathan say, Michael likes so much my drum kit, and he asked me to contact the factory to he want to buy another drum kit like my own kit to put on his studio.
Wow. Well,
yeah, it's a very cool history about. I have some problems with the stage producer too, with my drum kit. So beautiful, and the singer has to be more beautiful than my drum kit.
Yeah.
It was not Michael Jackson, but we have this kind of problem here.
Oh.
Tinny Winnie drums here. Hello, Winnie.
Hi.
Joy is saying here, our chat about insecurity and confidence help me so much.
Oh, that's awesome, Joey. Yeah, Joey's a killer drummer, and yeah, we've chatted back and forth about just being drummers and getting over hurdles and past roadblocks and trying to get past your mental. Sometimes we block ourselves, basically.
Yeah.
And I've been there.
How do you prepare your interview for a new guest from the Romeo? Maybe it works for me for the new streamings in the future.
Yeah, I mean, were you thinking like for the live streams that I do, those ones?
Yeah.
For the interviews, so usually what I'll do is everyone I've interviewed so far, I think except for one, except for Glenn Sobel, everyone else I've done a feature with, where we've published like an article of them telling their story. So usually what I'll do is I will, I'll give them kind of a quick outline of what we're going to talk about. Usually, I mean, they're pretty short. Usually they're maybe 30 minutes. I know that Mike Mangini's, we went a bit longer. There was so much awesome stuff to talk about. But so usually it's just, hey, we're just going to talk about, the story that you had told, on The Beat, which is our online magazine. And then I might have a couple of other questions. Usually we'll promote it a little bit in advance. We'll, if people want to submit questions, I'll take down a couple of maybe the best questions and I will ask those as well. I mean, and then usually we'll just touch base like 10, 15 minutes before we go live, and I'll say, hey, do you have any questions? Do you have anything? But I don't do a lot of preparation. It's partly because I like it to really be artist guided. So I want the guests to kind of guide it. It's not, I'll have a couple of questions. So if they don't really want to talk, if they want me to guide the conversation, I will come with questions, usually pertaining to the story that they had told or some other subject that, we've already kind of talked about. But I like to let them guide it. And then if there's no time for my questions and they just want to talk, it's pretty relaxed. And then I'll, if there's time, I'll bring in some of the audience questions. But usually it's kind of like, hey, like 2020, pretty crazy, right? And then they'll talk about, how have you stayed motivated? What have you been doing? It's like, are you losing your mind? Are you still able to do stuff? Oh, sorry, I just need to ignore my incoming call. So it's pretty casual.
Yeah. So do you think that if the streaming it goes more than 1 hour, it's a pretty good streaming?
Oh, I mean, it just depends. I mean, hopefully.
Yeah, because your streaming is right now with 1 hour and a half.
What? Holy cow! Oh my God!
Wow. Yeah, 1 hour and a half. It's not more longer streaming that we did, because we did streaming about almost 3 hours with Vera Figueiredo and with another drummer here, Aline de Souza, almost 3 hours. The questions never stop. But 1 hour and a half is pretty good.
That's pretty good. So, I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's a very good streaming. So tell us about if you have to make a choice about 5 female drummers to appear on the drum mail. You have to choose female drummers that never appear on the drum mail.
Who would I have? And just in case anyone's watching this, I don't decide who comes out or not, and so I can't, put these, put these people on or anything like that.
I'll put you on fire. I know.
Oh yeah. No, it's okay. It's okay. I'm just letting people know, like, I don't, just because I'm saying I would personally love to see them, like, doesn't mean, I'm currently not speaking for Drumeo, just for me. Who would I like to see? Emmanuel Caplet, I think would be amazing. I mean, honestly, some of the people that you've had, like Ellie Bertrand, I think awesome. And she does some amazing. We don't have a lot of country drummers. And so many country fans, and I think that people would, like we've had like Rich Redmond and Jim Riley, but we don't have a lot of country drummers, so it'd be really cool to have Ellie come out and maybe do some country stuff. Okay, I need 5. Who else has not been on it? I mean, Sheila E. would be like my dream to see, Romeo, but that 2 left. Let me see. I mean, we had Cindy Blackman Santana at the Drumeo Festival. I would love to see. I don't know if she would, she would want to do like any kind of lessons, but I mean, I would love to see just more of her because she's fantastic. I just love to see more of her, and she's got such a unique style, like playing style and improvising style. Really cool. And I need one more female drummer who has not appeared on Drumeo. I don't know why I'm forgetting her name, and I think you mentioned her earlier. Is it Eliza? She's like Helly drummer. Is it Alyssa? Elisa?
Elisa?
Yeah.
From Italy.
She's
Elisa Pilotti.
Yes. I would love to see her do it. She's such a killer drummer. We don't have a lot of metal on Drumeo, so in my dream world, if I had like my dream, it would be really cool to have her out and do some cool stuff. So those would be like my personal dream choices. Okay.
Elisa Pilotti was scheduled for 2020 GirlsOnDrumsFestival, but let's see what happened. I met Cindy Blackman once here in Brazil. I was doing my check-in in a hotel balcony, and she was on my side doing her checkout. I just came in and looked to my right and saw Cindy Blackman. For the first time, I don't remember any word in English. Say, Cindy, how? Okay, I could take 4 pics for my remind. Yeah, she was very running fast to go to airport.
Yeah, it's really cool though. Just running. It's cool anytime you run into someone that you respect or you look up to, or like any kind of like celebrity. It's like, whoa, like what are you doing?
Yeah, we did meeting and greeting session with Glenn Sobel. I am very huge fan of Glenn Sobel. He makes all the tricks make so easy. I tried a lot. My sticks go away.
Me too. Me too. Oh my God. You know, and he can just sit there and he's just like doing this. You know, just
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like and he still plays so precise. You know, even while he's still doing the stick tricks. And I'm like, how? Like I feel like you either perform. You're either really entertaining and you know maybe you lose some of your tightness of playing, but no, he can be a showman and still play beautifully. It's amazing.
Yeah. It's amazing. So we have now almost 1 hour and 35 minutes. And people, I hope that you are enjoying. We are going now to finish this streaming. I have the chance this year to meet on this streaming so many great artists, so many great drummers. I'm so lucky that we are finished this year with this amazing drummer, amazing girl, a very kind girl, special girl. You are part of our streaming family right now, Sam. Thank you so much, and please be my guest to say what you want to say to people. Final year inspiring words, or for beginner drummers. Please, give yourself to say.
Sure. Yeah, I think my big takeaway for anybody, beginner or experienced or anything, is don't let yourself get in your own way. Your mindset makes a bigger difference than you think. There's always room to grow and room to learn. You know, be your biggest advocate. You know, yeah, I think that so often people stop themselves from taking risks that will actually help take them to the next level, and that it's okay to take those risks, or it's okay to suck maybe in your practice. You know, you don't get better unless you suck. To be honest, you gotta be. If you're just practicing stuff you're good at, you don't get any better. You just maintain, you know, that. So it's like, don't get in your own way. Don't be afraid to suck. Don't be afraid to make mistakes or take risks. And that stuff was all big game changers for me. And just try and get out of your own head. It can be a daily struggle for a lot of creatives, a lot of artists. So yeah, and also if anybody wants to, you know, has questions about anything really, like feel free to message my page anytime, or you know, if you have concerns or issues with, you know, your being motivated, because that's something that I've had to work on a lot the last couple of years. Just like, how do you stay motivated? How do you find a practice routine that you don't get bored of quickly? That's all stuff I love to talk about. I have tons of ideas, so you're welcome to message me anytime.
Great. So are you doing lessons online right now?
I think so. It's something where I'm not outwardly offering them, but if somebody wanted to take them with me, that they are welcome to contact me, and I'm sure we can work something out. But yeah, I've given online lessons, you know, this year, so it's just, you're welcome to reach out to me and ask about them if you want.
Yeah, but people, as you can see, Sam is very accessible, correct? I remember when we scheduled this streaming, it's about maybe two months ago, maybe 2 months ago, yeah. Maybe 2 months. Okay, so Sam answered me in very, very soon. Don't forget this. Please talk with great drummers like Sam. Ask your questions. For sure she will respond to you, like you are watching her respond to all the questions. But you were so shy. That's why the filters go to Sam.
Oh, what do you mean? Sorry?
Yeah, the Zoct pads sponsor for this night will send you a package of 10 filters like this to put on your cymbal stands. Are you seeing? Hey. So it's made by rubber.
Okay.
But you can choose the color if you want black, if you want white, red, or blue and yellow. And I will put you in contact with Zoct, and they will send you a package.
Thank you. Cool.
Yeah, you were so amazing, and people tonight were so shy to send you questions.
Well, anyway, I'm not, I like getting, drum related messages or questions. So don't hesitate to message me. I promise I'm really nice, and I like answering questions, and I will get to you. Yeah. I love hearing from people.
So people, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching all these streamings, 91 live streamings for this year. I hope that you enjoy Brazilian drummers, our own drummers. For next year, we start. I'll do a little spoiler. We start in January 15 with Rebecca Bakken from XX UK. January 15. Okay, just this spoiler, because we have a complete schedule until March. Hoping doing a real live Girls on Drums festival. Let's pray for this, okay? And I can imagine another drummer to finish this year. Thank you so much, Sam, for your patience, your attention. You're so kind. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I hope you have a good, Happy New Year. And thank you everyone as well for tuning in. And if you were here the whole time, I think there were a couple people. Thank you so much for watching this whole thing. You're all amazing. And I hope, I will be tuning in as well to at least as many of the live streams as I can next year. So I recommend everyone also keep supporting Joel, keep supporting Girls on Drums Festival, and hopefully there will be a live one again in Brazil sometime soon.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope to meet you personally soon. And let's pray for this. Thank you, people. Have a good year. I hope that you stay with your family. Please take care. Play drums. You have to play drums. You have time. Play drums and be happy. Thank you, Sam. Don't go away from StreamYard. Let's talk a little bit more. Thank you. Bye-bye, people. See you tomorrow. Another Profile Drum Time in Joel. Okay? Bye. See you soon. Bye, Sam. Thank you. God bless.